So yeah, we rolling.
Okay. What's it called? Lounging with Skip.
Lounging with Skip.
Hey, you on that dark tonight?
I'm on the dark tonight.
Damn, we could have really got talking if I was on one.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. What you was talking about, you on your detox.
Yeah, no. Since
I'm like,
my birthday was November 26th. So November 27th, I just turned 41 and just wanted to do do something different, get back with my workout, give myself a little.
Keep this in my hands.
Give myself a little break. So,
so lounging with Skip. Just want to introduce, you know what I'm saying, this brother right here. Singer, songwriter, producer. Was an actor.
Still am.
Still an actor.
I don't know.
Anything else I should say?
Father, husband.
Husband.
Vocal coach.
Yeah.
Vocal producer. Mentor, teacher.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Ryan Toby.
Yes, sir.
Ryan Toby.
What's happening?
In the building. Lounging with Skip.
Yes, sir.
Lounging with the Skipster. Cooling with Shy.
Hey.
So, what's going on with you, man?
Well, I'm eating some pumpkin seeds, some walnuts, some cranberries. Just
So how long you been detoxing? How long has it been?
I've been detoxing now since November 27th. So
Really?
Yeah, where we January 18th now.
Really?
So it's been a little over a month.
So what, you was finding yourself kind of like picking the weight back up a little bit more, and then you was like, you know what, let me get back down.
Yeah, just turn another year older and just want to be a little bit more health conscious and with that drinking, a lot of empty calories, a lot of sugar and shit like that. Plus, I'm just getting ready to start shooting more videos, putting out more content, putting out more music. So I just wanted to get back, down to my R&B weight. Not that I was too crazy, but I just wanted to tighten up and just it's good to give the body a break. Get the kidneys and the liver a little
a little rest.
A little rest. You feel me? And just something to do. Little New Year's resolution. I just got married back in October.
Congratulations.
Thank you, appreciate it. So got married and just new things on the horizon, new business ventures, new music, new marriage. Just feeling good, feeling like it's just a new day. So just let me just start it off doing something a little different, fresh, reset the like the slate clean.
I know you've done numerous interviews in the past and talked about how you got where you are.
That's my first one. That's my first interview ever.
Yeah,
27 years in the business.
Whatever, man. Whatever. So what inspired you to want to sing and write?
Growing up in the 80s, singing wise, hands down, Michael Jackson. I was in Michael Jackson and Prince, I'll say. A little sprinkle of Stevie Wonder, but Stevie I got a little more into a little later. But I was in first grade, kindergarten, first grade, and Thriller dropped, and it was like, oh my God,
what the hell is this?
What is going on? Yeah, exactly. So Michael shook my soul like he shook the world. So I remember seeing Michael on when he did Motown 25 and performed Billie Jean, that legendary performance. I remember my whole family crowded around the TV.
Yeah, we did too.
And I was like, I gotta do that, whatever that is. I didn't even know what that was. Between Michael and then obviously growing up in the 80s, man, hip hop culture, hip hop was new, breakdancing, Run DMC, MTV, all of that. Just that influence of just visual music, videos and all that. And then Prince come along with Purple Rain. Yeah. And it was a rap.
The movie.
Yeah, the soundtrack. The album, yeah. My next door neighbor was the biggest Prince fan. He would come outside with lace gloves on and eyeliner. We used to clown him like crazy. Yeah, we used to clown him. But
he had the eyeliner on too? Yeah, the curl.
He really went hard. He was black and Puerto Rican, so he naturally had the curly hair.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was just our weird homeboy. You know what I mean? He wasn't no clown and no sucker. He just was like on that Prince shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He still could play football and chuck a football like 100 yards.
He was
just on Prince.
So by him being involved with Prince, that kind of sparked your interest as well. Like, man,
1,000%. 10,000%.
Had you tuned in to Prince?
10,000%. My neighbor had the big ghetto blaster boombox with the double tape deck and the big speakers, and he used to prop it up. I guess his window was broke. So he used to use the boombox radio to prop up the window. He put the whole box in the window.
Wow.
It had speakers blasting, you know what I'm saying? And so I had that influence. Also, too, growing up in the church. My mom sang in church and stuff like that on Sundays. So obviously, you know, riding in the car with my parents, you know, that Christian household, that upbringing wasn't allowed to play no, you know, worldly music in the house. Yeah. So we be listening to Shirley Caesar in the car and in the house going to church. You know, the gospel keynotes and the Mighty Clouds of Joy and all of that. Candy Staten and all of that. And then, but then when we come home, used to drive my dad crazy. We'd come home from church on a Sunday and Poochie be banging Purple Rain out the window. He'd be banging, you know what I'm saying, Darling Nikki. And we'll pull up from church and we getting out in our church clothes. My dad be pissed off. We get out, and I'm hearing, knew this girl named Nikki, I guess you could say she was a sex fiend. I'm like, what? I'm a little boy. Yeah. Like, I ain't even know what sex was. I knew the word, but
it just sounded, the sound of
masturbating with a magazine. Yeah. What does that even mean? What does masturbate mean? Like, it was just, you know what I mean? Like, masturbate.
Exactly.
What the hell?
Exactly.
So, just that, I think, that, you know, and then you know, the older kids maybe down the street, you know what I mean, they bumping Run DMC and, you know, Houdini, and I'm hearing that, you know, coming out the other radio system. So it was just that whole little mix of the gospel, the hip hop, and then the Prince and the Michael Jackson. That's me.
Okay.
That's me in a, you know what I mean, in a nutshell. So
your first taste of, you know, so fast forward from that to, you know, what got you in Sister Act? Was it 1 or 2? Which one?
2, part 2.
Okay, what got you in that? So you're a kid.
Yeah, I'm a kid, rapping, singing, and that was the culture in the 80s. You had to know how to break dance and backspin, and then another thing that was really big around my way was,
I think it's picking up that out there.
Oh, okay.
Maybe you should turn it down just a tad.
Babe, can you turn the TV down? So, so another thing that was big in my neighborhood, obviously breakdancing and pop locking and rapping and all of that, but then also roller skating culture was big.
Okay.
So, you know what I'm saying? You had, you know, knowing how to roller skate. And this different little skating crews was like, you had breakdancing crews, we had roller skating crews and all that.
So first off, you're from?
I'm from Jersey, Willingboro, New Jersey.
Okay, so it was skate crews out there.
Hell yeah,
okay.
Big time. Okay. My brother was one of the best skaters, and then we had a homie. One of his best friends was really one of the top best skaters, and just it was like all of that dancing, break dancing, you know, it was just the whole culture, hip hop, you know what I'm saying, Planet Rock, like, you know what I'm saying, It was just a whole thing. So whether you was pop locking, dancing, whatever, or then, you know, Friday nights, Saturday nights, it was skating, you know what I mean. And so that was really huge. So that was shaping me. And then, so I was doing that, rapping and all of that since I was young, man. In Willingboro, New Jersey, a small town. South Jersey, about an hour and a half from New York, south of New York, and about 20 minutes over the bridge from Philadelphia.
Okay.
So my town, the way it was positioned, I guess, it was like Philly was right over the bridge, 20-minute drive. New York was about an hour, you know what I'm saying, hour and some change north. Willingboro in the 70s, from what I understand, was like this new developed kind of like suburb surrounded by cities like Trenton and Camden and, you know, right outside of Philly. It was like this little suburb where, you know what I'm saying, black families could come and, you know, get like a decent house. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So you know, you got this influx of all these people, black families coming from New York, like, yo, you can get you a house in this little town called Willingboro.
Okay.
And so you got all this, you know, all this people from the city moving to this little suburb. So it was like this perfect little black suburb that had all this New York City like influence. It was a melting pot and Philly influence and city influence, but it was in an environment where, you know, you didn't necessarily have to worry about getting shot every day. I mean, cats was definitely, you know, gangs and all of that, you know what I'm saying, was definitely there. But it wasn't like it is now. It's gotten progressively worse over the years. Back then, it was just right when I grew up. I feel like I grew up in a golden era of what my city was. Now it's bad. It's real bad. Niggas is getting shot on their front porch. It's real bad. You know what I'm saying? Bloods and Crips real heavy. But back then, it was like just the right amount of like you could get, you know what I'm saying, you will get your head cracked in the wrong side of the wrong neighborhood, but you'll live.
Yeah, you live.
You'll live another day. You know what I mean? But we was known for having some of the best dancers. Like, I don't know where this entertainment. That's my neighbor's dog. You know, but yeah. They usually stop. They just do that when the sirens rub out.
It's all part of it.
Yeah, but
So that area that.
Yeah, I'm just giving you a little foundation of
documentary.
I'm giving you a little foundation, and then I kind of jumped over some things that's really significant to me, and it's like, but this area, for whatever reason, our area was a hub and a really good breeding ground for talent.
Okay.
Music talent. I mean, if I start running down the list of producers and artists that are from my area, it'll make your head spin. Like, nigga, you know, people be like, damn, it was like a little Motown. You know what I mean? I mean, Carl Lewis, the Olympic runner, the gold medalist, is you know, graduated from my high school. Wanye from Boyz II Men graduated from my high school. Ty Tribbett, the gospel sensation, graduated from my high school. Megahertz that did Bad Boy, we ain't going nowhere. We went to high school together.
Damn.
Adam Blackstone, who is the music director damn near for any music TV show you're watching now. He plays for Justin Timberlake, played for Jay-Z, anybody, Pharrell. We went to school together. He's from Willingboro, New Jersey. You see this guy on television. Anytime I watch a TV with my wife, she gets annoyed because it's like, she's like, you know everybody on TV. Like, literally, oh, we went to school together. Oh, that's my man. We went to school together. Young boy Mike Zombie, who did Drake, started from the bottom, now we here.
Yeah.
He grew up next door to my best friend's house.
Wow.
One of the cats from Channel Live, Smart Madism,
is
from Willingboro. The producer Mike City, who did Carl Thomas, you know,
I know Mike.
Sunshine Anderson, heard it all before.
He's from Willingboro?
He's from Willingboro.
I gotta holler at Mike.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah, me, you know, Ryan Toby, my group, City High, from Willingboro. Yeah, and it's only growing because they got a whole nother wave of young bucks coming out of my city that got their own little things going and stuff like that. So I don't know, for whatever reason, it was just like this melting pot. Our talent shows at our high school used to be like concerts, bro.
For real?
Like, you know how you know, school, know, the local little high school talent show? Nah.
It was like
our
concerts.
talent shows was like, because kids would come from all other high schools to perform at our talent shows.
Damn.
There was, I don't even know if there was a prize. I can't remember. I was like young.
It was just for the recognition and the.
It was just, like the
local fame.
Other high school. I've never known that. Normally at a high school talent show, it's people from that school.
Yeah.
At our high school talent shows, it was kids coming from other schools either to watch or to or perform.
Okay.
And they would be like, we just had some of the best talent. We was known for having the dopest singers, flyest niggas, and the prettiest girls. It's a pretty boy town. Like all the pretty boys and all the fly niggas and the style and the dressing and, you know what I'm saying, was from my city. So the bar for just being dope at shit was high. If you rap, it was like, you know what I mean? We had cold singing groups and like, you know what I mean? Like, if you said you sang, it was like a big deal. You know what I mean? There's a bunch of other people I can name you wouldn't know, but they're out on tour with different people singing background for different people and
from the city.
Stuff. From my city.
Okay.
It was known. Like, it was known. It was this utopia. It was like a black suburb. Whereas, like, I don't really know. It was like, I don't know, man. Like, your cousins from the projects would love to come down there because it would just be like, oh my God, it's like black people, but black people doing well enough. Not necessarily rich, but better than the projects. It was like that step up.
Okay.
You feel me? Like, so you could come there and give your family a better life and stuff like that. So that was how it was, and that just was like, it was just a breeding ground for talent. It was a breeding ground for talent. Like, you know, a lot of cats I'll hear stories of how, you know, growing up where they grew up, being, you know, if you was the little singer or the little rapper or the little poet or the little dancer with it, like, you was clowned and beat up and bullied, like that was corny. I would hear stories like, man, that was whack where I was from.
That's how it was where I was from.
Yeah, where I was from, it was like our the jazz choir was like, we would win competitions. We was traveling, and like our football team was dope, and the cheerleaders was bad, and like, you know what I'm saying?
For me, seventh grade, I was in choir class. Yeah. I took a choir class, and kids was joning because I was the only black dude in the choir class.
Yeah.
I just wanted to be around music.
Yeah.
But not really like in no band type shit. This was like seventh grade. You know what I mean?
See, I never felt that. Like, because in my school, the choir, like I said, our shows, our spring concerts and shit would be concerts.
Right.
Like some of the dope. I'm naming people that have gone on from my high school for it to not have been a performing arts high school. You would damn near think it was a performing arts high school. You know what I mean? Because people have gone on to do things in the business. And become, artists and painters and just gymnasts. And we had a couple cats come out of our school, made it to the NFL. It was just, I don't know what it was, man. Something in the water down there, bro. Kids was just talented and able. And see, back then too, I don't know if it was just the way the city was set up, because it's not like that now. Like, now it's a lot of corruption, and a couple of the mayors didn't do what they were supposed to do, and the city ain't got no money now. They broke. A lot of the programs was like, we used to have really bomb programs.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? The city was split up into different sections. We called them parks. So like, I lived in Millbrook Park, Country Club Park, Hawthorne Park. That was like the different sections. Like, each park had its own elementary school with its own basketball court, with like, in its own swimming pool in the summer, and like summer programs, and like, you know what I'm saying? So it was crazy. Like, the choir, even we called the Black Heritage Choir, that did for Black History Month. They would do a show like this, like a show for Black History. Those shows would be off the chain. Like, off the chain. Like, you know what I'm saying? Some of the best singers, man, I can't even begin to tell you. So, I don't know, a lot of those programs, they lost a lot of funding, like a lot of things in America when it comes to education and the programs and stuff like that. The arts just kind of lost out. But anyway, my city was a breeding ground for a lot of great talent. So it was cool if you could rap. It was cool if you could sing. It was cool if you could dance.
It was cool,
you know what I'm saying? Our parties and like school dances was like full blown, like a situation. DJs, it was like my homies that was DJs in high school is DJs on the radio now.
Wow.
DJing for like Young Jeezy DJ. We went to school together. DJ Ace, we went to school together. Cam, niggas went on to become radio personalities.
It makes sense.
You know what I'm saying?
It makes sense. When niggas is doing what they doing at that early of an age, you're gonna end up doing that for the rest rest of your life.
Yeah.
You found that passion. You found that love at that point. You already know what it is.
Yup.
You know what I mean?
My homeboy's sister, my best friend's sister, I just did her intro for her radio show. She just got another radio gig. She was out in St. Louis, I was telling you.
Okay.
Moshe.
Okay.
She used to be on the radio in St. Louis back with Moshe Lorin back when Nelly and them was popping.
Okay.
And you know, she from Lundberg. She just got another job in radio. Like people, all of our homies, like niggas was doing Zulu down in DC and P Stew and all them down in DC and Virginia. They've been on the radio since school. Cats was DJing in high school, DJing all the house parties and the school dances and the school parties.
And they doing that now.
And they all doing the same thing now.
That's what I'm saying.
For years, so that, you know, I crazy. I don't know. I never even really broke that down like that in an interview before. Because I'm even like, well, goddamn, like,
yeah, nigga,
that shit was kind of like, alright. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like really good, man. And like I said, the homies, it wasn't the type of environment, like I said, where you was getting beat up and clown for like.
It was like some for real Wonder Years shit.
Yeah, and like the homies that was getting to the street shit, if you was known for singing, that was cool. That was okay. Like to the point where be like, nigga, what you doing here?
Yeah, you shouldn't be.
You shouldn't be over here. Get out of here. What you doing over here? You know what I'm saying? So they like looked out, like a lot of my homies, and they wasn't tripping off that. It was, if anything, nigga, you gonna be a star, nigga. You gonna put us all on the map. Like, go do that. Don't be over here with us with this bullshit. Yeah. So, you know, it had that, but then don't get it twisted. It had that other element too. Yeah. Niggas was getting laid down. Like it was wild too. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause the funny thing is, after those big talent shows, there would be a fight. Right, niggas would be done turned the whole burnt the building down. You know what I mean? After the football games, niggas fought. After skating, niggas be skating and getting in there, and then immediately in the parking lot, it's fighting. You know what I'm saying? So that was just known. Yeah, it was like, you know what I'm saying. But
that's all a part of it.
Yeah. So it was just a great time growing up, man. And
so what led that to?
So after just doing that, then I think I had went through a phase of where I wasn't really doing the music like that. I called myself wanting to run the street. So call myself
running around the streets.
Call myself wanting to run the streets.
How old was you around this time?
This was 13.
For real?
Junior high school.
Okay.
13, 14, 15.
Okay.
Call myself trying to, want to run around a little bit.
Okay.
Kind of, see
hang
what
out
was
at night,
hang out, just getting in the dump shit, getting suspended, kicked out of school.
Okay.
I was kicked out of a couple schools, you know what I mean, and just acting a fool, and quickly learned that life wasn't for me. You know what I'm saying, and during that time, I remember my parents was just really like fed up with me, and my mom was just like, look, if I gotta pick you up from the police station, if you get kicked out of school one more time, whatever, this your third strike type thing. Because the judge had even said, like, Miss Toby, if I see him again, like, that's it. Like, I'm sending him away. You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
So that was like my last straw. So my mom's, and she was, and my pops was just like, look, you can't do nothing. Like, I wasn't allowed to walk to school with my friends. I couldn't hang with my friends, walk home with my friends. She like, I'm taking you to school. I'm going to be right here when you get out. I couldn't hang out. When I got home, straight up to my room. I'm in the room, damn near, it was like 23-hour lockdown. I could come down for dinner and right back, you know what I mean? So I was just on lockdown. And it was during that time when one of my friends, he was younger than me. And I never forget, he was like, man, because he heard me singing in one of the school things. And I wasn't really taking music serious. I don't even know why I was in this music class. I think I was just in the class because I was like, oh, it's better than, I'm going to just take music. I'm going to take, thought it was an easy class. And I was just acting up the whole time, getting in trouble. But he heard me sing in one of the concerts that they did. And he was like, man, you need to sing, like, why you don't sing more? Whatever.
It's a younger kid.
And at this time in my life, I wasn't thinking about singing. I was like, I wasn't thinking about none of that. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was like, man, you need to sing, blah, 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 blah. And he was like, you should meet my dad. He said, my dad be going to New York, and like that was the thing, like, you know, anything New York, like, oh yeah, I'm about to go to New York or go school shopping in New York or whatever. That was like a big deal.
Oh, okay.
So he's like, yeah, man, my dad be going, you know, to New York. He knows some people in New York. Blah blah blah. I'm like, yeah, all right, whatever. So I think I met his pop at the barbershop, and I sang for him, and he had took my number or something like that. And I remember he had called me later that night and was like, man, with a voice like that, you can make $1 million.
The dad?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was like, really? And he's like, yeah, you can make $1 million. And I was like, wow, you know what I mean? So then, so then he came to meet my parents because, you know, he wanted me to start like coming, like rehearsing. He wanted to start taking me to the studio, taking me to New York to meetings and whatever. And he was just a regular guy, really. He didn't like have no connections. He wasn't like a manager. He was just kind of like a regular dude that, you know, he just was a very fast talking kind of guy. Like he was just like, fuck it, you can sing. Fuck that nigga.
I'm meant to make you some money, nigga.
We about to make some money. Like, you know what I'm saying? Okay. So he just had me going to different talent competitions, whatever. And I mean, he
got you in some
got
things.
Me in some things. Had me singing at the Apollo. I did amateur night at the Apollo like 3-4 times. And started taking some meetings with some labels, and just like one thing would lead to another. This connect lead to this connect lead to this, boom, 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 boom. And so that went on for about a year and a half. And then, you know, one connection, one meeting to another, got us into the office with Kenny Ortiz, this A&R dude who discovered SWV.
So okay.
He discovered Pharrell and Chad.
Okay, so people. So this is the story. This is where the line draws, where it's like, you know, sometimes on like Unsungs, when they say they started off at one point and then it's like, yeah, so now we're in the studio, and then it's like, well, what happened between this time and you get in the studio? Right. This is that point.
I got you, and I hate that in interviews.
Yeah,
you're right.
What happened between that to that? This is that point. So Kenny Ortiz, so A&R, the guy got you placed in that. Now you're sitting in front of this guy, Kenny Ortiz. A&R.
And my manager's name was Marvin Thompson, by the way.
That's the guy. The guy's dad.
Yeah, Marvin. Okay. He was my first manager. So Marvin we ended up meeting a lady named Bobby Humphrey, who's actually a well-known jazz flautist from like the 70s and the 80s. She had albums out and stuff like that. So I don't remember how we met her. Somehow we met her, and then she knew people, and then her and Marvin started working together. And then they got me in, and I was starting to record like demos and stuff like that. Good friend of mine named Bert Price was one of the first cats who did demos for me. The singer Joe actually wrote one of my first demos.
Really?
Yeah, back in the day. I went and worked with this production team.
This was back in what year?
90. Yeah, 90, 91.
No one even know who Joe was.
91, 92, yeah.
Wow.
Yep. Just this dude named Joe. He was the writer. Yeah, he wrote this little song for me. And then about a year later, his album was out, and he was on his journey to being Joe. Wow. I met a lot of people like that. I met Mary J. Blige at Michael Bivins' birthday party. Which we wasn't supposed to be in, but that nigga Marvin somehow got us on the list. He made that happen. And so we had at the birthday party, and I remember Grand Poobah from Brand New Beats.
Grand Poobah.
What's up, shorty? What you know, man? How you sing? That's what's up, man. I want you to meet somebody. I want you to meet my homegirl. Hey, yo, Mary. This is my homegirl, Mary. She sing too. How you doing? How you doing? Yeah, you know what I mean? Blah, blah, blah. She's gonna be a star. Next thing you know, a year later, real love.
For real?
Was everywhere. I was like, ah.
So this was this.
I told Mary that story too.
Was this around the time when Grand Poobah when they did the what's the 411?
Yeah, but it wasn't out yet.
Oh,
Then a year later, I hear
What's
the
the
album, and I'm
411?
like, oh,
right.
I got all these pictures.
Well, but they did a remix together because I know around that time she did a song on his album, and he did a song on her album. He was featured on her album, and she was featured on his album. Around that time, and I remember they came out with that. What's the 411, honey? What's the 411? Yeah.
But yeah. So Kenny Ortiz, I had a meeting with him. He was like, "Yeah, man, I like you. You're dope. I want to work with you." He's like, "But right now, got my hands full. I just signed this group of girls named SWV." And I remember they was all sitting in the office. These three little black girls, and he's like, "Yeah, so I got them in the studio right now." He was like, but here, he gave me like $2,500. Like, go make you a little demo. I got
just gave it to you.
Well, not gave it to me, but you know what I mean. Like, he's like, "I'm gonna give you some money, basically." It was called a demo deal.
Okay.
So we did a small little demo deal of about $2,500.
Okay.
And that was to go and record a demo.
Dope.
He set up studio time with these producers out in Jersey, up in North Jersey, and this writer, and that was when I met Joe. And that was Joe. So
Joe had hair then. He had a box or something.
yeah, he sure did. This was right before his first album dropped. So I did that. And then so recorded the demo, whatever. And Kenny was like, all right, cool. Like, he wanted to just keep working with me, just keep developing me. He felt like I would have raw talent, but I needed a lot of development. So meanwhile, while I'm doing that, I'm also still doing little shows here and there, performing at the Apollo here and there.
So you was on the Apollo?
Not the TV show, no.
Oh.
But the Apollo was doing that before the TV show.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They was doing the amateur night and all that way, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I would perform at the Apollo like on a regular Apollo night.
Oh, okay.
And so let me see.
So you was traveling from Williamsboro.
Yeah, to Jersey. I mean to New York, yeah.
Dope.
And then so one day Kenny called my manager and Bobby Humphrey, the lady, the flute player lady that we was working with, and was like, Disney and Touchstone are looking for kids that can sing and dance to be in Sister Act Part 2. Sister Act, the first one was a big hit. Whoopi was popping.
You knew about it already. You knew about
Sister Act was huge.
I never really.
The first one was huge.
Yeah. I just remember Whoopi in Ghost.
Yeah, did she
Color
came back?
Purple.
I mean,
she came with Sister Act, but I never watched them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So then she came back with Sister Act. Sister Act was a big hit, and then so they were gonna be filming Part 2. So Kenny was like, "Yo, you should have Ryan go audition." So my manager told me about it, and I remember thinking no, I don't want to be an actor. Like, I'm trying to get a record deal. Like, I was trying to be Tevin Campbell. And so they was like, "Nah, man, just go. It could be good for you." Blah 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 blah. I didn't have no agent. I wasn't in the union, nothing. But Kenny pulled some strings. Bobby Humphrey, they was able to pull some strings, finagle some things, and get me on the list. So I got on the list. The audition was in New York. I went to the audition, and it's a very interesting story. Because the same day, Kenny also set up a meeting for me with, what was his name? The president of RCA at the time.
Okay.
His boss. Because Kenny was ready to make something happen with me now at this point. So he was like, "Yo, so when you come up to the city on, I don't know, Thursday, whatever, you're going to go to this Disney audition. After that audition, come over and you're going to do a showcase and sing for," his name was Skip somebody. I can't remember his last name. He was the main guy. This was my day.
This is your moment.
was gonna get a record deal, which is what I wanted. So
the same day you went in for the audition for Sister Act 2.
Yes, sir. So I'll never forget this day. So get to New York, go to the audition, and they had already warned me. This was my first audition, mind you. I'd never been on no audition ever before in my life. Sister Act was the first thing I ever auditioned for. So I had no prior training, nothing outside of little school plays and Christmas church recitals and shit.
Mm-hmm.
So they was like, look, you know, these other kids, they've been doing this a long time, blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't worry about them. You just go in there, do your thing, read your line. He was like, even if the audition people are a little like cold and just, you know what I'm saying, short with you, don't worry about that. If they're just like, okay, thank you, next, you know. So I'm like, all right. Go in, they call my name. I go in. The lady, she was right. It was just me and one lady in the room. She's sitting behind the table. She got the camera set up on the tripod. Had a little wall area for me to go stand in front of the wall. She's like, okay, stand on the X. State your name. How old are you? I don't even think she even looked up. You know what I mean? She was writing on some paper, just kind of like running through the motions. Ryan Toby, I don't think about 16, 15, something like that. She was like, I was 15. And she was like, okay, you got some lines to read? So they gave me some like little generic lines. So I read my little lines. She was like, okay, you gonna sing something? I was like, yeah. And by this time she had got up, started the camera, whatever. She's like working the little tripod, working the little camera. She said, so I sang this song my mom used to make me sing in church, you know, every Sunday or whatever. Feel Like Going On from the 5 Heartbeats. Song Eddie Kane sang at the end of the movie when he got saved. Yeah. So I sang I Feel Like Going On. I feel like going on. You know what I mean? Feel like going on. So I just sang my little Sunday church song. And I sang it, belted, wailed it with all my heart. Bruh, this lady looked up at me. She had glasses on. She stops the camera. She takes her glasses off, bro, and she starts crying.
Damn.
No lie. And she said, oh my God, that voice. She's like, I gotta hug that voice. And she comes around from the tripod, around from her table, comes over to me, and she's hugging me. And I'm standing there like, this is the complete opposite of how they told me the audition might go.
Right.
And she was just like, oh my God, young man, that voice, God has got something on you, and blah, 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 blah. And that was that. And I left. I came out. My manager, like, how did it go? Was it good? Like, did it? I'm like, yeah, I think it went pretty good. So I'm feeling pretty good. I told them what happened. They like, oh, you know, it was me. I remember my brother and his girlfriend at the time. They was with me. So, and my manager, Marvin. So we got in a cab. So now we headed over to RCA. So Marvin's like, oh man, we about to go meet the Skip. It's gonna be good. Like, I'm gonna get a record deal today. The acting audition went well. And I'll never forget, it started raining. It started raining and it was cold and it was dark in New York. And so I like fell asleep in the cab. For the cab ride, I don't know how long it took us. Not that long to get across town over to RCA. Got in RCA. We go up in like a little kind of like conference. I don't know. They kind of had like a room with like a little stage and a little microphone, kind of set up for showcase, like a little small showcase. So we went in this room and it's Kenny Ortiz, the head A&R, Skip somebody, whatever his name was, the president, top dog, my manager, my brother, and his girl. That was it. They had a microphone, and I used to sing Michael Jackson, when you know what I'm saying? Have you, I treated you fine. Yeah. I used to get rip that shit. Okay. I had that little baby voice. Oh my God, man. This was my moment to get my deal, nigga. And I felt fine. Everything was fine.
Man,
going up in there.
what you do?
I was like, what the fuck? What? My shit was gone, bro.
Oh, wow.
Voice just, it was the strangest thing. To this day, I never had nothing like that happen to me.
Real?
It was like, I don't know. I just came from singing in this audition. I don't understand. And my manager looking at me like Joe Jackson, like, nigga, you don't, come here. He had to talk. Oh, sorry, Skip. Hold on. Let me just talk to him real quick. What's wrong with you, boy? Nigga, do you know what is that? I don't know, man. He might have put a little too much pressure on me or something. I don't know, man. But so I just choked. Just flat out fucking choked. Choked. And so I choked, and Skip was just like, I mean, it's cool. He's like, you know, it happens to the best of them. I remember so-and-so saying for me, and they did the same thing happen with them, and they're trying to make me feel better.
Right.
But that was basically it. Needless to say, I didn't get no record deal that day. But ironically, the thing that I didn't want to do, I got a call back for. They want you to come back and audition again. Came back, auditioned again. Then a couple weeks later, got a third call back. They want you to come back again.
Damn.
So they started with I don't know how many thousands of kids, and it just kept trickling down, and I was making the cut every time.
Damn.
Until Tevin Campbell went out for that role.
For real?
It got to the point where I'm going to auditions and I'm seeing Tevin Campbell walking in. What's old girl from little sister from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Talking about Tatiana?
Tatiana Ali. Like it was like I'm starting to see, like it went from just seeing regular no-name kids to
like
Tony Thompson from High Five.
Wow, he came up in there?
Yes, bruh. All like the premier young kids and I was like, and I kept making the cut. Back to back, my nigga. Matter of fact, it was like 7 auditions.
So 7 times.
7 times.
7 was the lucky number. 7
times. And then the very last one, they flew me out to LA to audition for the director. I don't know if Whoopi was there. I don't think she was, but the director and like the producers and all the head top people at Disney and stuff like that. And it came down to me and this one dude, Chaz. Me and him, Chaz, we still friends to this day. Me and one cat. That was the audition. I met Lauren. She was there. Yeah. So the thing I wasn't trying to do, I made it all the way to the finals.
Right.
And won and got that shit.
Yeah.
And the thing that I wanted to do,
right.
I still can't explain that to this day, my nigga. I really can't. I just like, what was he? God, what? You know?
It just wasn't meant for that to go that route.
I guess not.
It wasn't. You know what I mean?
That bugs me out to this day. I ain't gonna lie. That just like, it's like, cause here I am still. Like, you know, that's the one thing I never did was put out that solo album as like that solo artist. I've seemed to have done everything but that. I've written for top name people. I've been in a group that has some success. I mean, I've been on 2 albums writing wise that have sold excess of 20 million albums. But I never had that solo artist thing, you know. It's just strange. I've done like Broadway and theater, and you know what I mean. It's very, very interesting. I walked away from the theater world. I was crushing that for a minute, and I walked away from it because I was like, this ain't what I want to do. Like, and I was getting booked for that left and right. You know what I mean? Like, cause then I finally did after Sister Act. I finally did get an agent and all of that, and then I'm like, okay, I guess I'm supposed to be an actor. So, like, you know what I mean? I'm going on different auditions and stuff like that. And
now, tell me this. When you was filming Sister Act 2, how was that for you doing that? Like, how long of a shoot was that?
It was like 4 months.
Oh, damn.
It was 4 months in LA, so it was like from April to like the end of the summer or something like that.
So how was it with like Lauryn Hill on the set? Did you know?
It was great because me and Lauren
was
Lauren was just this pretty little girl from Jersey, so we connected really quick because we was both from Jersey.
Okay.
It was like both of our first time in LA, and she was 18, I was 15. I was 15.
Wow.
I think I was, or it might have been 16.
Wow.
Yeah, I was 16. I was 16. She was 18.
Damn, you 16. She's 18. So y'all young. Y'all kids.
We was young. She was very mature for her age, though.
For real?
Yeah, very mature. But she was like a woman to me. Like, you know what I mean? But anyway, yeah. So we was both from Jersey, so we hit it off right away. And also too, where they had us living at in Burbank, like in these apartments. Her apartment was like right below mine, or yeah, right below mine, or right above mine, right below mine. So, you know, I saw her every day. We hung out even when we wasn't working. I was downstairs at her apartment. I had the biggest crush on her. You know what I'm saying? And she's actually the one that put me up on Stevie Wonder. Like, you gotta listen to this, you know what I mean?
Oh.
And I knew who Stevie Wonder was, but I wasn't like as far as getting in depth with all his old albums and all these B-side cuts and but you gotta hear this song. You gotta hear this song. Like, I just knew Stevie. I just called to say I love you. Like, you know what I mean? That's all I knew about Stevie Wonder.
Right.
So she really put me on.
Know about the.
I ain't know about nah. I ain't know about, you know, telling us to be a superwoman. Like, I ain't really know about all them joints. So she put me on to that. She put me on to a lot of stuff, Bob Marley and all of that. But yeah, she was telling me about this group she was in called the Refugees.
This was
in LA. Yeah, she used to date Omar Epps, so he used to come around. I didn't like that when he would come around.
Really?
And,
why?
That was her dude. And I was like,
now, this was 92, so he had already
he did
Juice.
Yeah, I knew who he was.
Wow.
He was Juice on Mario. So he would come, you know, when he would come around, he only came around a couple times, or they used to date, or I forget how it went.
Yeah,
that was like her ex-boyfriend or something like that. So I remember he came to visit.
That's dope.
And I was just like, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, my little heart was broke. My little heart was broke. I love me some Lauryn Hill. That was,
okay, so
I was supposed to take her to my prom too. She was
real?
gonna come to my prom, and I told her no at the last minute.
You told her no?
Yeah.
Why'd you tell her no?
I choked.
Hey, it happens to the best of us.
Nah, but you know why? Cause it was like cause you know what it was? It was out of a defense mechanism. Because when I asked her, because she didn't get to go to her prom. She didn't even get to go to her graduation because we was filming Sister Act. She was a senior when we was filming Sister Act. And I remember we did like a little fake graduation thing for her on set just to make her feel good.
Wow.
That was Whoopi's idea. But because they wouldn't let her fly back home to go to walk with her class.
Wow.
So, so when I had asked her, like, yo, when I was then a senior a couple of years later after Sister Act, we had stayed in contact. We was friends. And I was like, yo, would you come to my prom with me? She was like, oh my God. Like, she said, yeah. But in my mind, like, because she had started becoming, like, the Fuji started, like, popping.
Okay. This was
Mona Lisa and all that started popping.
Yeah, this was before the score.
Yeah, so Mona Lisa and all that started popping. And it was like, she said, yeah, but it was like, the closer it started coming, I was like, I don't want her to then pull out on me and I get my hopes all up.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? And then too, the other thing was she was like becoming like a celebrity type of thing. So I just didn't want my prom night to be ruined a little bit because everybody would be like I didn't know how to handle
such a
celebrity. Yeah, I was still in high school. I didn't know how to handle that, and I'm like, and then if I bring her, and then is it gonna be? I was just all in my head. So I just called her and was like, maybe never mind, it's cool. And she was tight. And I didn't realize too that when she told me, yeah, she really was like, no, I'm coming. I had already picked my dress and everything. I didn't realize how she was like hurt behind that. And I didn't realize that. because she had kind of said like, oh yeah, I'll come,
like whatever.
And I'm thinking
like whatever, but when it came down to it, she was like, no,
she was like, nah, like I really was gonna come, bro.
Right, because she didn't experience that herself.
Yeah,
so she wanted to experience that with you.
Yeah, and I was, you know,
but you was kind of taken aback by it because you was overwhelmed by her own celebrity.
Yeah, she was really becoming like that chick, and she was a little older too. You got to remember, she's 2 years older than me. So by the time my prom came around, she was like 20.
Right, so he's kind of
I'm like, still it was like I was a little intimidated. Like she was like a grown woman. She was gonna be driving down there in her own like Suzuki Jeep and like whatever. She had the Isuzu Trooper, the Mitsubishi Trooper, or what. The Mitsubishi.
I'm not familiar with car names.
Well, it was that truck was hard back in the day. Like she had one, but I forget what it was called. It was the Trooper.
She had one though.
Yeah, it was like she was kind of like, you know what I'm saying, somewhat of a celebrity. Like it was, you know what I mean. So I think I got a little intimidated. If I could go back and do it again,
of course. I mean, you know in hindsight, 2020. I mean, we all.
Yeah, I was still like young in the head and just a young boy. Like you know what I'm saying. It was a little overwhelming. I never told nobody that. But
hey.
Okay. But yeah, but I was telling you was asking me how it went. It was great. Me and Lauren was cool.
Okay.
Being in LA was a little hard for at first, but that shit was cool. I got my first piece of understanding of what publishing was.
So how'd you come across that?
At rehearsal one day. We were rehearsing the songs for Sister Act, and we were rehearsing the song Joyful, Joyful. And I think we were on a break. And I was looking for the kid, Ron, the other black kid that was doing all the rapping in the movie.
I never saw the movie.
Oh, okay. You need to do your research.
Yeah, I never saw the movie.
Interviewing niggas.
Well, I mean, I know you was in it, but I never actually sat there and watched.
So tell me about your book, because I ain't read that shit. Yeah, so anyway, this other kid in the movie, he was like supposed to do this rap part.
Okay.
And I went looking for him, and he was like in some side room, and he was in there trying to write a rap. And I was like, what you doing? He's like, oh, they want me to say a rap in the little breakdown section of this song. So I was like, what you got so far? And he had some little thing he was trying to rap, and I was like, nah, man, you should say something like this. And I just started freestyling, rapping, and I just spit the whole rap, like an 8-bar rap verse right off the top of the dome. And he was like, write that down. I remember I literally wrote it on a napkin and just walked out the room, not even thinking nothing of it.
Mm-hmm. And gave it to him.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so he rapped it for them, and they loved it. The producers and the people in charge. So I remember my attorney called me maybe a couple days later on that week, just checking up on me, how they treating you out there, everything good. I was like, yeah, it's real good. I was like, I wrote this little rap thing I think they're gonna use in the movie. He was like, what? You did what? I was like, yeah, I wrote this little rap thing. I think they said they're gonna use it. He was like, hold on a second, let me call you right back. He called me back an hour later, and he was like, yeah, Ryan. So there's such a thing you need to know about called publishing. Publishing? What's that? If you write something and they use it in a movie or a recording or you get paid. Really? He was like, yeah. And he got me paid.
Really?
Yeah, man. To this day, I get paid.
So you get paid off of Sister Act 2?
Believe that.
So tell me this. So the Oh Happy Day, you get paid off of that?
No, I didn't write that.
Okay, so
I just sung that.
You just sung that.
Yeah.
But the rap part that you wrote in the movie, you get paid off to this day. That's a beautiful thing, man.
Mm-hmm.
That is a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah, I was publishing, boy.
Man, that is a beautiful thing, man.
So that was my first little introduction in the public.
So you was like, wow. Okay. So at this point, you're like, wow. Okay, boom, boom, boom. Mm-hmm. Okay, you went to school. You graduated from high school.
Yeah, I went, and that was after the movie came out. So the movie Sister Act 2 is it became more of a cult classic later.
Right.
It didn't like kill the box office. The first movie, I think Sister Act, the first one did like 250 in the box office. The second one did like 50.
50 mil?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it, in comparison to the first one, it was nothing. But then, for whatever reason, as time went on, like the DVD sale, it was still VHS sales, video sales.
So tell me this, just for the people that are listening. Publishing, when it talks about that, you getting paid off of the VH1 sales, DVD sales, anytime it's being played on TNT.
No,
all that shit.
When it's being played, yes, because it's like having a song on the radio.
Okay. So
it's like Stevie Wonder writing "Ribbon in the Sky" back in 1970.
Okay.
He's still getting paid off that because it's still playing every time it plays.
Wow.
So when they start showing it on TBS and showing it on, and it's coming on reruns all the time coming on TV.
And that's when it's like,
okay.
And this is worldwide. This is they'll play Sister Act 2 in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Shit.
For the last 20.
This
year will be 25
years or some shit.
Yeah, so 20, 24, 20 plus years. So that's where people started really, really getting familiar with it because it was coming on TV. It wasn't like when it came out in the theaters. It wasn't like, X-Men or nothing like that. But
I believe I really do think that, because I didn't know nothing about the movie, man. As a kid, I just remember seeing little glimpses of it and seeing this black kid in the movie. This black boy in the movie. And I'm like, no, they got a black boy in the movie. You know what I mean? Like, I never sat down and watched the movie, but the part where you were singing and how they make all these memes about, that's the standout of the movie. That's the part everyone remembers. How does that make you feel now when you see these memes and all that going on about that? How does that make you feel?
Very strange, because I'm so far removed from it. It was so long ago in my life. I feel the same way. That's almost like Jaleel White with Steve Urkel.
Right.
You know what I mean?
He's so far removed from Urkel,
but people won't let you outlive it, which is cool. It could be a little annoying sometimes, but you definitely love it because it's who you were. But obviously, you want people to know who you are now. But people, it really taught me, like, wow, when you coming on in someone's house regularly on their television, they develop a connection with you that you'll never understand. And you are immortalized in their eyes. They only see you as that thing that you were back then.
Right.
Like Gary Coleman, you know what I'm saying? What you talking about, Willis? Like, he was so past that and nobody could see him other than that.
Right.
You are forever that. So people, oh my God, oh Happy Day Boy, people ask me, can you still hit that note? That's what they want to know. And I'm like, you don't even realize that I'm 25 years older.
Yeah.
I was only 16. I was a late bloomer too. I barely hit puberty. I ain't really hit puberty till I was 18. That's why I looked like 12 in the movie. I was 16. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So, it feels to see the memes. It feels good. It just feels a little surreal. It's kind of like, holy shit, like,
damn, I remember when I did that
shit.
Yeah,
and it's like, wow, like, people are still connecting to that. Like, dog, it's not a day that goes by that I don't either get, like, recognized or somebody's like tagging me on that meme, or even people I know, they'll text me and they'll send it to me like as if, like, you don't think I've ever seen this before.
Like you've seen it before, right.
But I realize, like, that's their connection to it. So, it doesn't frustrate me anymore. I accept it. It's like, it's a blessing. It's a blessing that I did something that became iconic,
sticks. That sticks because, it's like one of those things, man. Like, we look at pictures, You know, like now, if I look at a picture of myself at 16, 15, I'm like, wow, like I remember when I was on that too. Mm-hmm. But I don't have any movement pictures of me at 15. Maybe I do, but I haven't seen them in a long time or whatever. So to be able to have others, strangers, see your movements at 15 and it be embedded in their heads over the years, and then to see you now as an adult, it's kind of like, to me, that's the dope part about it, because it's everlasting. No matter how old you get walking around this earth, on TV, you're that age, you're that person, you're stuck in that time. You know what I mean? After you're long gone. You know what I mean?
Like, imagine,
that's the dope thing about it.
You know, imagine if, you know, we've all, you know, been young, and there's some videos, home videos, some funny shit about us floating around somewhere. Us in our pajamas on Christmas morning doing some stupid dance or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get.
Imagine if that video, like, what if people in your city been watching that video,
went viral
for the last 20 years?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a little skip with the pajamas. You'd be like, wow, like, you really think that I'm still...
Yeah, that...
Can you still fit those pajamas? Like, you know what I mean? So it's just an interesting feeling.
Right.
It's a very interesting feeling, you know what I mean? Like I said, it does feel good, but then it has its moments of like, wow, like, I can't even explain it, bro. I'm still getting used to it, to be honest. I'm still not used to it.
All right, so let's fast forward.
Yeah.
So, since Act 2 comes out, does what it does, becomes a cult classic, blah, 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 blah. All this time goes. Now, from between Sister Act 2 to the time, you know, the Fugees blow up, blah, 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 blah. Wyclef sees y'all, da, 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 da.
I try to go to college.
You try to go to college.
I leave college.
I mean, whatchamacallit, City High.
No, there's things that happen in between that.
So, yeah.
So, I go to, after Sister Act, I go back to high school. Nothing really changed. I went back home. Like I said, the movie did cool in the theater, but it wasn't no box office smash. So I just went back home. I was regular, you know what I mean. And I think that's what it was too. I think with the Lauren thing, even inviting her to my prom, it seemed like she was big. Like it you know what I mean. Like, and I was kind of like back home and normal. Now, if I'd have went back home and it'd have been pandemonium, then maybe I probably would have felt a little more. Like, yeah, and I'm gonna show up to the prom with, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I went back home and it was like normal. So, it was like, you know what I mean? I was like, damn, bring Lauren over there, you know what I mean? It was kind of, I think that's kind of what it was too. So, anyway, went back to school, graduated high school. I was going on more auditions and stuff, but I had only landed like maybe a couple of small things. I was doing my thing in the theater world. Graduated, went to Grambling State for like...
Oh, you went to Grambling?
For like a semester.
Okay.
And it was like, this ain't for me.
You tried to play anything?
No, I did not. A lot of my friends, though, were obsessed with being Kappas.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. We was trying to figure out the secret handshake. Niggas swore they knew the handshake. It's very, very strange. It's strange.
For real?
Yeah, like, it's very strange that I know even my mentor was Kappa.
Oh,
you're a Kappa.
Man,
it's like,
bro, that's some funny shit. That's where all the jokes come from, man. You be laughing. That's what's so
yeah,
funny.
like,
that's what's so
because
funny.
it was a lot of, it was quite a few at some pivotal times in my life. Like,
that's funny, man.
I got these Kappas in my life. You know what I mean?
Funny.
But anyway, so went to Grambling for a little while, and it was funny. While I'm in Grambling, I had got in contact with, Jazzy Jeff had a production company called A Touch of Jazz in Philly.
I remember that.
Had a studio. I mean, he had like Jeanette.
What year was this?
90, 95, 96, 97. That whole...
So Jeanette already had the Mr. DJ, Hey Mr. DJ.
I think so, but
yeah,
like...
because that was like 90... Hey Mr. DJ, that's like 93.
Yeah. So I think Jeff had... Because he had another studio somewhere, and then he moved to North 3rd Street. And then, so I started coming around there in 96, 97-ish. And, but while I was in Grambling that brief semester, I had befriended two of the producers under Jeff's little banner. He had Carvin and Ivan, he had Dre and Vidal. Me and Dre and Vidal got cool. So while I was in Grambling, they would be like sending me beat tapes and stuff like that, and it's like, man, you need to be here. You need
in
to
the
be,
mail. They would send the actual cassettes.
Yeah. Like, man, you need to. I don't know if CD burners was.
They weren't.
Yeah,
they weren't.
So it was like, yeah, man, you need to be here with us, and making music. So they was sending me beats and shit in college, and like that was part of the real. I was like, man, I'm in college, trying to get a degree in something that I could just be doing. So left school, came back to Jersey, and I was doing like a lot of theater stuff to pay the bills, and then I was going down to Church of Jazz, rocking with, Jeff had a whole little stable of young, you know what I mean? It was almost like Puffy with the Hitmen, you know what I mean? Jeff was like the Philly Puffy. He was huge back then in Philly, and so he had artists. I mean, Jill Scott was just this little light-skinned chick coming around. Music Soul Child was just this little short dude coming around, you know what I'm saying? Bilal and Eddie and all that whole Philly soul movement was just the homies.
Was Jazzy Jeff?
A lot of it, or at least they was coming, coming through, and it was a whole collective, you know what I mean? So just that whole energy of us, that was our, Jeff's studio was our college. We learned how to make beats, how to cut records, how to, mix, how to, you know what I mean? How to make songs. We learned all that under Jeff's roof. He opened his doors to cats, and I'm eternally grateful to him for that. So I was going to Jeff's, and I think my first placement while I was there, as a songwriter now. I'm starting to write songs. I always wrote songs and whatever, but now it's like, I can write songs for things. So it was this sitcom called Brother to Brother, or
who was in it?
Tommy Davidson.
Okay.
And a couple other actors, Kadeem Hardison. Those are the only two names. The other two dudes, I just don't know their names, but they was in a lot of that stuff in the 90s.
Okay.
So there was a song called Brother to Brother or something like that, and I wrote the theme song, and it got placed
on the show.
On the show, yep. So I wonder if I could find that and pull that up. But that was my first placement under Jeff's banner. Second placement under Jeff's banner was Dave Hollister. So Dave Hollister had left Blackstreet, and he was coming down to record his solo album, and I wrote a song for him that made it on his album. And then I think my third placement.
Okay, hold on. Okay, hold on. So at this point, Dave Hollister already did Blackstreet, Before I Let You Go, and all that shit. He went solo. So at this point, you had did the placement for the whatchamacallit, and now here it is, Dave Hollister working on his solo album, leaving Blackstreet. And you wrote a song for him that's landed on that. Do you all hear this? It's all about living in your journey. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So then I think the next guy that came down, I wrote.
So these guys are just coming through the spot, like Dave Hollister, just coming by the studio.
No, these were because Jeff had a full functioning studio and production company with producers and writers signed to him. I was actually signed to him as an artist, so he was gonna get me a deal. So once again, so I was really there to be trying to work on my album. But then on this, we got so and so coming in. He needs songs for his album. We got this opportunity to get something placed on this TV show. So it was just Jeff was just lining up different little opportunities and letting little niggas get in pocket. He had his squad of little young guns coming with that heat, and Jeff was Jazzy Jeff. So you know what I mean?
Parents just don't understand.
Yeah, it was like I said, Puffin the Hitman. Yeah. You know what I mean? So we was Jeff's little hitman. You know what I mean? And so And he was grooming us and developing us, you know what I mean, into being real producers and writers and stuff like that. So, and he had a couple of artists signed to him. This dude named Valvin. They was doing his album at the time. I don't think he had Jill signed at that particular time. Glenn Lewis, I don't think was there at that time either. But a lot of that was coming, in the works. Brewing. So anyway, did Dave Hollister, then Darius Rucker from Hootie and the Blowfish, lead singer. I wrote his first single off of his first album. He left the group and he did his first solo. He wanted to do an R&B album because he was coming from Hootie and the Blowfish, which was rock. So he wanted to do an R&B album.
And you wrote that and it placed.
It was his first single. It came out.
How did that do?
That's an interesting question. I don't know. That's an interesting question.
I mean, I know you see publishing from that.
Yeah, but it was so old, so long ago. I don't remember it being like. I think you know what it was. Fans, I think, were a little conflicted with him coming from Hootie, and he was trying to do R&B. Wow. I don't know if it was, you know what I'm saying. So that was those was the first couple of ones, and then Will did Men in Black. The movie blew up like crazy that summer. The single "Here Come Men in Black" sold like double platinum, and then shortly after that, Will came, basically off of that whole success of that and that whole summer and whatever.
I remember that.
Will came to Jeff and was like, "Yo, I think I'm gonna do a comeback album."
So this was his comeback album from Penn. What was the album before that? This was his
whatever Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince last album was.
This was his first solo
rap anything.
Okay,
remember Will went and did Fresh Prince.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
So from '89.
Yeah. When rap went gangster, that was the end of Fresh Prince. Yeah. He was doing TV.
Bad Boys. All that shit. Okay.
He did TV, and then he did Made in America. I think was the first movie. Yeah. And then he did
Bad Boys.
Right. No, he did 6 Degrees.
Yeah, and then Bad Boys.
Then Bad Boys, and then Independence Day. Yeah. And then he did Independence Day. And then he was the action guy.
Right. And
then
he did Men in Black. Was 98?
Yep, something like that. So then he's coming back now to rap.
Right. Okay.
So he came down to Jeff, obviously his best friend, like, yo, got this deal with Sony. Tommy Mottola gave me the Sony jet to fly around in. I want to do an album, and you my man. Like, what's up? Let's get it. Like, what you got for me? So Jeff was playing him, a lot of our stuff and the stuff that we had, and he was playing him stuff off of my album, the album that I was recording to get myself a solo deal. And he heard one of my songs, and he wanted it.
Which was what?
It was this song called "I Loved Her."
Okay.
And so. He
was rapping?
Yeah, and singing.
Okay.
Which was like unheard of back then.
Okay.
That was like not the cool thing to do.
Okay.
So ironically that was the thing that was my Achilles heel in trying to get a record deal, because record labels ain't understand what to do with me. And he's like, he's dope, but like, is he a rapper or is he a singer? It's like, what do you mean? He does both. Like, I would rap and then sing the hook and then rap the verse, like pretty much what is the standard now. I was doing that shit when it wasn't cool. And I couldn't get a record deal because of it. How about that? Couldn't get a record deal because I could rap and sing.
You can do both.
It was like, pick a lane. Now, that is the lane. The universe is something, man. So anyway, Will heard it. Like, damn, who was that? Who was that rapping? Oh, this kid named Ryan. We got... Who's singing on the chorus? Oh, that's him. He's singing the chorus too? Yeah. What the... Like, you know what I mean? So, Will heard the song, loved it, wanted to record it. So, Will recorded it, loved it. He loved my vibe and was like, yo, man.
He kept you on it?
Yes, he did end up keeping me on it. He was gonna try to get some other R&B, somebody big name to do it, but he ended up keeping me on it. So,
and that was on the album.
Yeah.
For real?
Uh-huh.
That was on his comeback album?
Yeah, Big Willie style. Same album with Getting Jiggy with It.
And you're singing on the hook?
Yeah.
For real?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I did 4 songs on that album.
So you did 4 songs on Big Willie style?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What 4 songs were those?
I Loved Her. Don't Say Nothing. I think a song called Candy. And Miami. Welcome to Miami. Yeah.
All right, so y'all hear that?
You take like they in the box.
This nigga did Miami.
Yeah.
This nigga wrote now. Okay, so now we go from the publishing on Sister Act 2.
Mm-hmm.
Now you seeing this motion from Will Smith, nigga, motherfucking Fresh Prince, nigga.
Mm-hmm.
What was that like? What was that vibe like at that point where you was like, what, nigga?
That didn't really hit me right away, because I remember when Jeff called me with the idea of giving Will my song, I was like, no. I was like, rap had changed. I was like, the Fresh Prince, like, you know what I mean? Like, he's corny. Like, I don't want him to take me, you know what I mean? And it was like all about Biggie and, you know what I mean, Rockefeller and Nas, what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Jeff was like, taught me a very valuable lesson. He was like, Ryan, you're a songwriter, and he was like, you're gonna write more songs. Don't get so married to these songs. Because back then I was like, like, this is my deal, this is my songs for my album, blah, blah, blah. So I remember I was like, all right, fine, he can record it, but I gotta be there. Like, I don't know what I wasn't even thinking about him being, because he was huge, but he was like, here comes the man in black. Like, that wasn't hard in the street. That was just, you know what I mean? So I wasn't impressed.
I know.
You know what I mean?
I know, yeah.
So it was kind of like, all right, cool, whatever. So, and like I said, back then I'm singing, nigga, and I was spitting, I was rapping, nigga. I rap too, like.
So when you did Miami, you had the song.
I had never even been to Miami. We came up with that together.
Okay.
Yeah, that came along a little later. Yeah. So this first song I had, it was my song. I Loved Her.
Okay.
That was my song.
Yeah.
So I came down to the studio. I remember I met him. And when I met him, I just remember thinking, wow, you're not as tall as I thought you would be. Like, he didn't look as bad boys. Yeah, he didn't look like that. He just looked like a regular dude. And he was really cool, super chill. And I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where my head was at. I don't know. But anyway, I was just, so it didn't hit me. It didn't hit me.
Man?
Yeah, it didn't hit me that I was working with Will Smith.
Right.
Until he was like, yo, because he finished that one song, and then he was like, yo, man, you think you can write me another one? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, what you want to talk about? What you want it to be about? And then I think he was just like, I don't know, man. Like, a lot of people just be saying things that are just telling people, you know what I mean? Like, basically, stop hating or some shit. Mm. So I wrote a song called Don't Say Nothing. Like, if you ain't got nothing good to say, don't say nothing type of thing. And I wrote it, like, on the spot. Like, you know what I'm saying? And, like,
so co-produced.
No, me and one of Jeff's producers got together and came up with the track. And I wrote the song. And then Will came in and
he loved it.
He loved it. So he recorded it.
So both of y'all was good. Like, the producer, he's like, bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So Will recorded it, and then he was like, "Yo,
write me another
he was
one.
like, yeah, he was like, "Yo, I'm going out to L.A. to go work with like Warren G and Snoop and he was like, you want to come with me?" And I was like, yeah, sure, So he's like, all right. I was like, so, this is when I knew, okay, this is different. This is Will Smith. Because I was like, all right, well, I had a little girlfriend at the time that I was living with. Well, she was living with me. And I was like, all right, well, so I got to get like a plane ticket or whatever. I got to go home, talk to my girl. He was like, nah, like right now. I was like, what you mean right now? He's like, yeah, we're gonna leave like tonight, like right now. And I was like, oh, I was like, oh man, because I'm thinking like, oh, you want me to like get flight, da da da. Like, well, who do I talk to with my flight arrangements, da 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 da. And he like, no, like we gonna leave right now. It's like, what you talking about? And so I was like, man, but I gotta at least talk to my girl first, or whatever. So he's like, all right, cool. Well, you let me know, and da da da, whatever. So I think what happened. So I ended up. He's like, all right. He ended up staying an extra day or something like that, and we left the next day. Mm-hmm. And we got on that private jet. That's when I was like, oh, okay. That was my first time on the private jet.
And he was like,
yeah, me, Will, Jada Pinkett, his new little girlfriend at the time, Jada Pinkett.
Jason's Lyric,
Jada Pinkett.
Menace to Society.
You know, Lauryn Hill was up for that role. They wanted Lauryn Hill. She turned it down.
For Jason's Lyric?
Yup. She turned it down. She didn't want to do the sex scene. You see what I'm saying? This is the Lauryn. Like, I'm like, she's turning movies down. Like, so it was like, she was a star, nigga.
At that time.
Yeah. She was a star. I remember she called me like, you think I should do this movie? They want to do this sex scene. And they said they would use a body double, but I don't know. Blah, blah, blah. I remember her calling me talking about it.
Damn.
She was a star. So anyway.
So yeah, so the Will.
So Will are flying out to LA on the PJ. And flew out and went to his crib, and it's funny because now I live 10 minutes from that airport. We landed that private jet airport that we landed at. Yeah. I drive past that airport all the time. I think about that. Like my first time landing here was with Will Smith, jumping in the limo with me and Will and Jada, going out to his crib. And
so he's like, yeah, okay, this is Will Smith. Like,
even then, it was still a little like, what the fuck is happening? So flew out.
It's kind of like, why you? Like, you know,
I just didn't understand it. I just didn't understand it, and I don't know. I don't know, bro. I was just never really like a thirsty dude, so I just never really. Oh my gosh, like I just kind of always. I was just raised a certain way,
right? Just like, oh God, yeah,
like lay back, act like you've been somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, we flew out. Right. So we flew out. Then we go to we flew out. Then we go to the crib. I stayed at the house. And we end up flying. I mean, we end up going to work with Warren G, Snoop Dogg. Snoop was riding around in the bulletproof minivan. This was still the East Coast coming. You know, East Coast West Coast was still a little. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Whatever. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's funny. I remember I ran a puff on an elevator with Will. So funny. Anyway, so then we worked with them out in LA. And then we flew.
So they were on that album too?
Nah.
Those songs didn't make it? He was just trying to get some West Coast feel.
He was working with everybody.
He was just trying to see what was going to stick.
So we left LA. He's like, yo, I'm going to New York to work with the track masters, Tony Pope. Got back on that PJ. Flew out to New York.
Yeah.
Worked. That was when I met Tony Pope. That was when we did Miami. And the other song, Candy. And Nas was writing for him too. So Nas would be in one studio writing, and I would be in the other room writing. Nas wrote Men in Black. And I think Nas wrote Getting Jiggy With It.
So Nas wrote Men in Black. And he wrote Get Jiggy With It. Yep. Alright. So
at the Hit Factory in New York.
At the Hit Factory in New York. So what led to, okay, now boom, City High.
Well,
Wyclef.
So I was signed to Jazzy Jeff as an artist still.
Right.
Did the Will Smith stuff. But the Will Smith stuff hadn't come out yet. So I just wrote it, worked with him, and then that was the end of that. And then
so it was kind of like it was just, okay, I did that, it's done.
And then back to my normal life.
Wow.
So
so those types of things, were you paid up front for, or it was just like you just do it?
So I didn't know if the album was gonna come out and break. I didn't know what was gonna happen. And you know, just after you finish working with somebody, it's not like the shit comes out that next week. It's still time, and you know what I mean.
But it was no type of.
It might have been
because this type of thing, you know what I'm saying. Artists want to know, songwriters want to know. This type of thing, do you get paid up front for those types of services, or is this just you just kind of go with the fact?
I mean, at this stage in my career now, I can start to demand a fee up front.
Yeah, but back then it's Will Smith. You're like, fuck it, I'm just rolling with whatever the fuck is going on.
Or
okay,
just record labels don't pay you like that. Once you start making a name for yourself, and you know, then you can start demanding some shit like that. But just the way the music business is designed and set up. They want you to do everything for free in hopes of it blowing up. It's just the way the business is. It's whack. So, work with Will. That's done. Now I'm back to working on my shit, whatever. So I ask, so Jazzy Jeff's supposed to be getting me a record deal. But like I said, I was having a hard time getting me a record deal. They didn't know what to do with me. So during that time, I finished working with Will, but his album hadn't dropped yet. Jazzy Jeff can't get me no record deal. I'm kind of stuck in the middle. I don't know what's going on. My girlfriend at the time was pregnant with my daughter. I was like, oh man, I'm hurting. And dang, yeah. So my girlfriend was pregnant with my daughter. So then I had already knew. Okay, so I reconnect with my old manager, my first manager, because we had parted ways after
the one that got you in the audition.
We had parted ways after Sister Act and all that. We had parted ways. So we ended up reconnecting. So when I met up with him, he was like, yo, man, how you been? You know, blah, 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 blah. So then he's like, yo, I'm working with this kid you went to school with. This kid named Robbie. I was like, oh, Robbie, yeah. He was a couple of years younger than me in high school. So I was like, oh, yeah, I know him. He's like, yeah, singing dude, da-da-da-da-da. He said, well, look, man, I'm working, you know, with some partners of mine, blase. And Wyclef Jean just signed him. I was like, yeah, so this is after the score. This is after Wyclef Carnival, Staying Alive. Wyclef was, you know, he was the man. This is after Destiny's Child. No. Wyclef was the man. This is after Nas and Lauryn Hill, If I Ruled the World. So the Fugees are huge. Wyclef is huge. The Fugees had broken up, though. So he was like, yeah, Wyclef signed this kid. He was like, but you know, he needs some songs. You should come write some songs for him. So I was like, all right, you know. I knew Robbie, but we wasn't like friends or nothing. We just knew each other from high school. So I linked up with Robbie, and then I started going to the studio with him, writing songs for him for his little solo album, whatever, with Wyclef. So one day Rob was like, yo, man, you should come to the studio with me. I got to go meet with Wyclef and Jerry Wonder. They want me to sing, you know, sing some vocals and help write or something, sing vocals, backgrounds on this Whitney Houston song they're working on, which was My Love Is Your Love. Okay. You know, my love is your love and your love.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I go to the studio with Robbie. Now, mind you, I already knew Wyclef through Lauryn Hill, Sister Act, and all of that. I had already met Wyclef, I think, at Lauren's baby shower. Me and Wyclef, I battled Wyclef outside, you know, like at the baby shower, because the baby shower was like at her crib, and me and Clef and Praz and John Forte, we was in the front yard battling.
I don't dig Van Dyke.
Yeah, so
surprise.
So I already knew Wyclef. He knew what I was capable of, whatever. So when we get to the studio, and I come walking in. So as soon as Clef saw me, he like, oh shit, what up? Well, he's like, yo, you the songwriter that's been working with Robbie? I was like, yeah. He was like, yo, this nigga. So he dapping me up. He's like, yo, this nigga right here. This little nigga right here. Yo, this nigga battled me for 2 hours at Lauren's baby shower. Like, this nigga rap his ass off. Da 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 da. So he showed me mad love. So I was just sitting there chilling, and he working on the song, and he was like, yo, you want to jump on this? Just sing some background? I was like, yeah.
This was the Whitney?
Yeah. She wasn't there or nothing. He was working on it. I don't even know if it had her vocals on it yet. But he's like, yeah, this is for Whitney Houston. So I'm like, oh, okay. And he was just like, so I sang like some background harmonies and stuff like that. He was just like, damn, nigga.
So you getting publishing off the Whitney Houston?
No, I didn't write anything on that. No. I just sang some backgrounds.
Okay.
So he just stacking, he just adding different vocals, you know what I mean? So he just like, yo, you want to jump on this? You know, do some background, do some harmonies.
Gotcha.
So I jump on and just sang some stuff, and then he was like, yo, man, dang, you still dope, man. What's going on with you? Like, you ain't got no record deal now? Like, what's up? What you doing, man? You know I got my label now, blah, 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 blah. So I was like, yeah, man. I said, you know, I'm signed with Jazzy Jeff, but he having a hard time with getting me a deal. And I was like, I just finished working with Will Smith. And he like, nigga, Will Smith is, that's my phone. He's like, Will Smith is Jazzy Jeff's best friend, nigga, and they can't get you no record deal. So I was like, yeah, man, you know what I mean? I don't know what's going on, whatever, da 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 da. So he was like, man, you need to come over here with us. You know what I mean? And this was at the end of my deal was about to be up with Jazzy Jeff in like the next month and a half. So I was like, well, look, man, if he can't get me no situation by the end of the year, my deal is up with him, and then I can do whatever. And Wyclef was like, yeah, man, you come over here and rock with us, man. I put some money in your pocket, blah, 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 you know what I mean? So I needed the bread, and Jeff couldn't make nothing happen, so I went and signed with Wyclef. And when I was signed with Wyclef, because he was like, yo, man, you and Robbie got such a dope chemistry in the studio, and y'all bounce off each other, da 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 da. He was like, y'all should maybe be a group, like on some Casey and JoJo shit. So that's how City High originally. Okay. City High was originally me and Robbie.
Okay.
And then Claudette was we just had her singing on that hook of that one song.
What song?
What Would You Do? Our first single.
So that originally, that was just.
It was really me and him. That's why me and him are singing the verses. We had her kind of just like featured on the hook. But when Wyclef and them heard it, they was like, yo, who's that on the hook? And then we like, oh, Claudette, da 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 da. And they was like, well, really, where's she at? So when she came to the studio, they saw her. They're like, oh my God, y'all should be a trio. So it went from like he was a solo artist to we was a duo to like now he's a trio.
Wow.
First it was like, yo, you solo artist, nigga, you gonna be like the new Maxwell. Then it was like, nigga, y'all two should be a group. Y'all be like Casey and JoJo. Like, yo, y'all should be a trio. Y'all gonna be the next Fugees. It just kept getting like, you know what I'm saying? So
wow, that okay. So the what's called that? What would you do? That was the both of y'all on the song, and she was on the hook.
Just singing the hook.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So, boom, City High. Now City High blows up.
Yeah, it did pretty good.
Blows up. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, me coming from St. Louis, the song was everywhere. Mm-hmm. And then wasn't there another song too? Was another single that came out after that? I think.
Yeah, Caramel.
Yeah, and then after that, just boom.
Yeah, and then it broke up.
Yup. Now, from that point, now it was like, okay, now what? Now at this point, this was like 2001, 2002.
The group officially broke up it was like really over in like 03.
Okay, so it was over in 03.
The whole run was like from 99.
Because that album came out in 01.
01. So from like 99 to 03 was like the full.
Okay. 99. So about, what's that, 2 years?
99 to 03 is what? 3 years. 3, like 99. No.
Yeah, 99 to 03.
Oh yeah. Yes, yeah.
So in 03, boom. Now here we come with Confessions.
Yeah, so the group was, I was living in Miami at the time. And
Now at this time, by this time, Will Smith's album
came out, popped off.
You're like, oh
I
shit!
really didn't have to do that deal.
Now let's go back to right. Now let's go back to that.
That shit came out and blew up so big.
Right. Now let's go back to that.
I really didn't have to do that.
So that came out before the group started popping off with the
right after. It seemed like right after I signed the contract with Clef.
Yeah.
And Clef, you know, they gave me my little advance.
Yeah.
And we became a group officially, and they even had to restructure his deal from being a solo artist, Robbie, to now we're a group.
Okay.
So by the time all that paperwork is done and it's official and we're a group and it was like, nigga, Getting Jiggy With It came out. Boom! Number 1. And then all the singles started coming out and they was all big, and then Miami comes out. Boom!
Now, how long after when you recorded those songs to this point, how long was that time span?
At least a year.
At least a year.
Probably even longer.
Damn.
From that until Miami coming out, from recording until Miami coming out was like a year and a half. I feel like it was forever, because I didn't even know if any of my songs was going, because I didn't do Jiggy With It, and there was another. So they put out a single called Cruising. The first single that they put out on the album ain't do nothing, and that scared me. It was called Cruising.
I think I remember that.
And he was in this car, and the car transformed.
I think I remember that.
Shit was whack, and I was like, oh man, this album might be whack. So I was kind of happy, like, man, I'm glad I did. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad I did the little deal or whatever. But then freaking Getting Jiggy With It came out.
That was Nas.
Yeah, and that shit.
And he was like,
I mean, the album. The single was huge, and the album was selling, but they didn't put out my song. I'm still waiting for one of my joints. Yeah.
So all of a sudden, Miami.
That was. They put out. No, after Getting Jiggy With It, they put out a song. I think Just the Two of Us, and then they put out Cruising, Jiggy, Just the Two of Us, and then I guess Miami.
When that shit,
that shit was big. Party in the city with the heat is on all night. I'm beat to the break down. Welcome to Miami. Yeah.
Man, listen, that song, that was, what was that? Summer 2000?
Had to be.
Yeah. So this was before the City High shit.
Before the album, yeah.
Okay, so you was riding off that wave off that.
Them checks had started coming in.
They started coming in.
Them checks had started coming in. So while we're here's the crazy. While we're recording the City High album and trying to just get City High off the ground, I was like iced out, different rollies every day. Or if it's at one point, Clef was like, "Yo, nigga, like." How you a new artist, but you got on just as much jewelry as me? He said that. Like, he said that one time. Like, you know what I mean? And
he was like, shit,
so I mean, but if I'd have held out and said, nah, I don't want to be in no group. You know, I'm cool. I'm gonna just keep pursuing my solo things. If I'd have waited, I wouldn't be in no City High, and who knows what my life would have been. Because money would have started coming in. I wouldn't have needed to sign with Wyclef. It would have just been a whole nother. I would love to look. I would love to see some alternate endings of some things in my life. Some decisions. Like, what would my life have been? You know?
But your life is what it is. And I mean, it's still great.
No, I'm not taking that away from it.
But just the alternate endings.
It's just trippy.
Not endings, but just alternate routes.
Just parallel. Yeah. But that's a whole nother interview.
Okay, so boom. How did it go to the
So anyway,
parallel. Yeah. That sounds like it should be like 6 hours long. Going into all that.
So real quick.
How did it go to that?
So City High, we toured. We was nominated for a Grammy. You know, we did really well. We toured. We toured Europe and toured the States and all of that stuff. We did really good. Then we were going in to record our second album. So this is 2000, end of 2002, going into 2003. But the group was on rocky ground. We was breaking up. We wasn't getting along. I had started dating a girl in the group. She was pregnant. It just was getting complicated. So, I was living in Miami, but I was staying in New York because we were recording the second album, but the group, it was falling apart. So we recorded a whole second album. It never came out.
A whole album.
Mm-hmm. We did a whole album. It wasn't that good though. I don't think so. Not as good as the first album, but.
What did that first album ended up doing? Did it go gold or?
Yeah, we went gold. We almost just shy of platinum. It's probably platinum now, but we is like literally just shy of 1 million records. So total worldwide we sold over 1 million, but stateside we were just shy of 1 million.
Okay.
So anyway, so I'm living in Miami, staying in New York.
What was Puffy doing?
Right. So I'm staying in New York. So then I get a call from my man Dre, from Dre and Vidal. You know, used to be with Jazzy Jeff and them. So they wasn't with Jeff no more, and they was just like, yeah, we doing our own thing now. Me and Vidal, blah 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 blah. Mind you, he did Butterflies for Michael Jackson. They did all that music, Soul Child.
Dre and Vidal.
Yup. Jill Scott.
They did the Butterflies.
Yeah. Butterflies, Glenn Lewis, Jill Scott, Music Soul Child.
So this is like, what's it like 01, 02?
No, 2003.
Okay.
They had already did it.
They already did that. Okay, so 03. Okay.
So 03, I remember going top of 03. Dre was like, yeah, man, I got this new crib in Philly, studio, blah, blah, blah. You should come down, man. Let's work like how we used to work. You know what I mean? So we link up and we get in the studio, and first song we came up with ended up being Superstar, that went on Usher's Confessions album.
How'd that song go? I forgot.
I'll be your groupie, baby, 'cause you are my superstar. I'm your number one fan. I'll get your autograph. Sign it right here on my heart. Had the Willie Hutch sample.
Okay. From the Mac. That's on the Mac too.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we sampled that, whatever, did the record. And I remember my man Dre was like, yo, man, I think this shit'll be hard for Usher. This is Usher after he did 80701, so Usher was in between. Justin Timberlake had just came out.
8701, that was You Remind Me of My...
Yeah.
Okay. Justin Timberlake just came out with the...
Yeah. But Justin Timberlake was crushing it. Matter of fact, Justin had Cry Me a River and all that. So Usher was in between albums.
Gotcha.
Justin was popping.
Gotcha.
So I remember my man Dre was like, yo, I think this would be dope for Usher. And I was just like, whatever. Okay, cool. So
you sung it. It was all done.
Yeah, I demoed it up. Yeah, we did that in Philly. And he sent it to L.A. Reid. I guess they had some connections with L.A. Reid. So they took a meeting. I guess L.A. heard it, loved it. And he flew us to Atlanta to go work with Usher. And that was April of 03. So went down to Atlanta. Usher recorded Superstar. And then we started working on other songs. And we ended up doing Caught Up. And then we did another song called Come Follow Me. We did a bunch of songs, but those was the three that made.
So when like for instance Caught Up, doing the feeling, is he in the studio with you when you just do the song, you record it, boom boom, and then
he came to the studio later.
And he listens to it. And
he didn't like this song either. Took us like 3 days to convince him to record it. 3 days of just hanging out, kicking it, partying with him, playing it over and over and over and over and over.
Of your version?
Yeah. And then he finally was like, all right, I'll cut it. And he recorded it and came out really dope.
So, those songs was recorded, you know what I'm saying? Confessions was recorded. Now, you know how we talked about before when when you did Will Smith's stuff. And how from the time you record it to the time it comes out. So this is April 03. How long from that time when you recorded these records did they actually come out and you're like, whoa?
Came out in like March of 04.
So like a year later.
About a year.
So in that time span of you between that, how was things for you during that time?
Life was good. We was working. I was working with a bunch of people: Ruben Stutter, Tyrese, Genuine.
Okay.
Shit, you know, everybody. I was working with everybody.
Dope.
Yeah.
So
A. Marie, Sunshine Anderson, Donnell Jones,
and these
Mario.
These songs on the albums.
Yeah.
Dope. So, boom, Usher's album comes out. Mm-hmm. Is that the one that does 10 million? Does Diamond?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sold 1 million records the first week.
How many?
1 million.
Okay. So when that album come out, how the fuck was that off of the Lil Jon single? Yeah. Uh-huh. That was based off. Okay. Mm-hmm. That and then how was that time period for you when that album comes out? And because this album was like moving for like 2 years straight.
Yeah. It was crazy. I mean, Usher was a rock star, and
yeah,
it just was amazing. It was just like the Will Smith thing all over again.
Wow.
You know, to have something that you just kind of worked on, to just see it just kind of go off like that is just kind of, and you watching the nigga that you was just in the studio with, and it was kind of, y'all was just kicking it and drinking together, hanging out, kicking it at the crib, you know, partying in the club, whatever. And now this nigga's on every TV station talk. You know what I mean? Wow. It's just like, wow. Just to see, you know. Mm-hmm. It's just kind of, it's amazing.
But do you ever look at it like, damn, like these people that I've, you know, gained, you know what I'm saying, trust with, friendships with, does it make you look at yourself like, damn, well, maybe I'm in that same.
I wish.
In that same
I mean,
light.
I wish I did, but just the type of person that I am, no, it didn't make me think that. But that's just the type of person I am. I kind of always, I don't know. I just would play the background. I would play the back. Like I would never think of myself like that. You know, although I should have probably been thinking like that. You know what I mean?
So after Confessions album drops, it does this. It's very successful. Now what do you do?
Let's see. Confessions. 04. Confessions came out. I ended up getting married the first time to my to the girl that was in the group with me. We got married, and I was working, just working with a bunch of different artists at that time. Mm-hmm. Genuine, Tyrese, Charlie Wilson.
Things ever seen to a point where it slowed down?
Things started to slow down a little bit in Philly because I was living in Jersey. I had moved back to Jersey from Miami, and I got married, and I was working with Dre and Vidal in Philly, and then I was working on the girl from my group. She had a solo deal with the same label. The group broke up, but they kept her as a solo artist. So then I started working on her solo album, and we was working on that for quite a while. With Trackmasters was doing half of the album, and then Dre Vidal was doing like half the album, and then we started working with Brian Michael Cox, and he had success with the Mary J. Blige. Can I let be without you, baby? So
that was around that time. What year was this? This was
05, 06. So started working with Brian, and then the whole industry had kind of shifted to Atlanta. That was during that time when Atlanta started blowing
the
up.
Laffy Taffy, all that shit.
So all of that started popping off. And then just even like the business we was coming out of that neo soul and that whole Philly vibe, and it was more like Atlanta. You know what I mean?
The Lil Jon,
and all that. Yeah. I had worked with during that time. I had worked with Chris Brown on his first.
When he first came out.
So then I moved to Atlanta. Packed up my little family and we moved to Atlanta. And I was living in Atlanta. And then I started working on I called myself, I was working on my own album again.
Still on that journey.
Still on that journey, bruh.
For that solo album.
Still on that journey, bruh. I promise you, it's gotta happen. It's on my bucket list. I don't know when. I don't know, man. I really don't know, bro. Like it's like, I don't know what stars need to be aligned
for it to happen.
I really don't know. I don't know what, and I really don't know. Like what is God's? How do you want me to do this? You want me to be a 50-year-old jazz artist? Like maybe I don't know. But and honestly, it doesn't even matter to me. It doesn't matter when it happens. But it's definitely
gonna happen.
It's on my bucket list.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
So yeah, 06, 05, 06, I was working on. These are the MySpace days.
Gotcha.
I was working on my solo project again. I did a project. Didn't really pan out. Was working in Atlanta. Me and Usher had became really good friends. Our kids was going to the same school. We was hanging out. But then things got rocky in both of our marriages. So he wasn't really recording like that. He was going through his divorce. I was going through a breakup of my own. And
this was like what?
07, 08. Things got a little crazy. And then everything kind of just went to shit in Atlanta. Broke up. Me and my wife broke up. And my mom had passed away. And then I moved out to LA. And I'm in May of 2009. And I've been in LA ever since. And I met this nigga named Skipper the Flipper. Skipper B, a.k.a. Big Brother. Who that?
Oh, man.
And then, yeah, so since I've been in LA for the last, coming up on what, 8, 9 years now, you know, it just was a lot of rebuilding.
I feel like hearing your story, it's been like a lot of self building within yourself, man. Like a lot of, it's not even about the public. It's more for the soul. That's what I feel.
Yeah.
The energy I get from like hearing just like your story and hearing what it is you're talking about and seeing where you are now. It's like more of a soul building spiritual enhancement. It's kind of like you needed to get away. Like we talked about before, you need to get away from just everything and just kind of really confined to just you. Still working, but not dealing with a lot of the outside world of things.
Yeah, I was thinking about that today, actually. Interesting you said that because even hearing you say that, it's like something in my spirit lights up.
Yeah.
Because out of all of this stuff, out of everything that happened, and like even when you asked, like, yo, yeah, where was your head at when you was working with this? Why wasn't, you know, like, I would be more interested in what I was reading in Proverbs or like what Solomon was talking about. And I would be more trying to mimic what I was reading in that than caring about who I was working with and how I could finagle that situation or parlay that into another situation and how I could blow up even more. And you know what I mean? It's just always been, not to say I wasn't, you know, present. I mean, I worked my ass off. I got the plaques to prove it. Like I put up my numbers. I was, you know what I'm saying? I worked on my craft and I still do to this day. But if you ask me my priority is like, my soul journey just always seems to come first. It just always does.
You know what, man? I know in different things that I come across, like I think about you in a sense because I remember how you know, when you say, man, you know, you just work on something and you just keep it pushing to the next, and you don't think about it too hard. You just kind of, I don't know, man. It's like it's more of a mature way of thinking from a self-evaluating perspective.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
running into you.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, you know, we're just gonna I'm gonna just explain how we met. So I was me and my homeboy Jax, we went to this burrito spot around the corner and had something to eat. And we were leaving the spot, went down the street to 7-Eleven to get some cookies and shit. And the whatchamacallit, they didn't have the cookies. So I was like, man, fuck it, man, I'm gonna go down the street, this other 7-Eleven, get cookies. When I went to that 7-Eleven, I walked inside, I see this nigga. You know what I mean? And I'm like, what the fuck? And I just so happened to, I think I was like looking him up I ran across his name and looked him up on Wikipedia the day before. So I was like, what are the odds of this? So our relationship has been a lot about signs and just, you know what I'm saying, more deeper meaning than music. Music has been a factor, but it's more so just a deeper meaning of why is this? A deeper thinking, a deeper sense, you know what I'm saying? Because it's how we met, you know what I mean? And, you know, just on the fact of him being who he is and it's just an honor, you know what I'm saying, to be able to sit here and to be able to interview you, you know what I mean? And to be able to, you know what I'm saying, connect with you, you know what I'm saying? And for you to be able to sit here and lounge with Skip, you feel me? You know what I'm saying? So where do you plan on going for the future? Since we're here now, you know what I'm saying? You told your story. Where do you plan on going from here? When's the solo album coming out?
That's a great question. Well, right now I just started releasing some singles. Dropped the Icarus song. I put out another song called Repeat History. I plan on putting
So that's out?
Repeat History been out.
It is?
It's been out.
Hold on, that's the one with the hold on. Sing a little bit of it.
Ain't nobody leaving. Ain't nobody going nowhere. Yeah.
That's the shit.
Yeah.
That's out? It's on Spotify though? Really?
It's been out.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
That's the shit. Make sure y'all go on Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, Tidal, all that. Look up Ryan Toby, Repeat History.
Yes.
Icarus.
Yes, and please follow me on Spotify. Follow me on Instagram and all that at Ryan Toby Ryan, RyanToby Ryan, Ryan Toby Ryan. But so for the future, it's about I'm just releasing music, continuing to work on myself, working with new artists like Ro James, working with Usher still.
Now what
James?
What song have you written for
Ro James? I did 4 songs on his first album. Already knew that. Burn Slow, song called El Dorado, and another song called Sorry. I did a record for Luke James that came out a few months ago called Drip. I got some music coming out, and I had a record came out in the movie Girls Trip with Queen Latifah, Jada Pinkett, called You Just Might. I got some stuff. I'm doing some stuff for Empire, writing the songs for Empire, the TV show. I've been working with a lot of new artists. I'm still in the studio with Usher for his new project, and just working on my own stuff. And I'm just gonna continue to release. I'm gotta get my solo project out.
One of these days.
I don't want to say it like that. I mean, it's done. It's just a matter. I mean, we just started releasing now. I don't really have like my album release date. I don't really think you need that anymore these days. It's just a new day and time. Yeah, you just kind of drop it whenever you want to, and just let people, because it lives on the internet. So when people get around, it might be something you put out in 2 years from now that really blows up, and then they go back and they find all your other stuff anyway. So I'm not even putting that pressure on myself for like, oh, my album's coming out in May, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? I'm just really having fun putting singles out and shooting videos. I mean, really, you ain't even got to put out a whole album. You can just keep dropping singles.
That's what I'm saying.
People make their own playlists these days anyway.
We gotta drop that. What that do, man?
Oh, well, for sure. We got niggas with it on the one that Love Don't Go is really where it's
at. Yeah, that Love Gon' Go.
That record is a hit.
Love Gon' Go.
That might be the next one I put out.
Love Gon' Go.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? They gotta
for
keep
sure.
it. So one last thing before we wrap this up. To up and coming songwriters out there, songwriters, vocal producers, anybody with the same type of dream that you had as a young, you know what I'm saying, kid coming up, what advice would you give them to keep going, pursuing what it is that they're doing?
Advice to young up and coming songwriters?
Yeah, songwriters, producers, vocal producers.
Advice. You know, make yourself as versatile as you possibly can. Don't just be a one-trick pony. You know, you want to try to have as many different talents and tools in your bag as possible. I know how to write, sing, rap, record, mix, engineer, produce. I could do a little bit of everything. You know, except ironically, I don't play an instrument. But other than that, you know what I mean? I would just say you want to make yourself as versatile as possible, and be open to just exploring all kinds of different ways that you can skin this cat and make it in this business. It's not always about just being the chump up front. You can make a lot of money being the Mac in the back. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's kind of the approach that I took. Early on, once I learned how to make money behind the scenes, I started caring less and less about being in the front and in the spotlight. That's all it was. And so, you know what I mean? Because I had my share of celebrity. It's not all that it's cracked up to be. Yes, it has its fun moments and it has its perks, but then it has its moments where it's not so fun, and you don't want to be the guy that everybody is pointing at and looking at and everybody is running to with their hand out. You know what I mean? It's cool to just be able to go to Target and not be bothered, and just go to the movies with your kids and not be bothered, and just, you know, and appreciate your anonymity. You know what I mean? So I would just say be open to any way that the universe can, you know, bless you. And there's so many different ways you can get into this game, and you should learn as much as you can about all the different facets of it. That's my biggest piece of advice, because a lot of people I meet, they only got this one dream and this one thing, and if this don't work, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And it's like, and I get it, you definitely want to be all in with what your passion is, but not to the point to where if that don't work, you know, you don't know how to adapt.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
So I learned how to sing songs, write songs, record songs, mix songs. I could do vocal coaching. I could do a lot of different things. You know what I mean? I get paid sometimes to help artists get ready for a show. I could show them how to move across the stage and how to, you know what I mean? Will Smith paid me to get his son Jaden, back when Jaden was like 9-10 years old. He had to perform with Justin Bieber, his first concert. His first show ever on stage of any kind of stage was going to be at Madison Square Garden. He didn't even know how to rap. He just could rap, but he didn't know what hip hop was and MCing and rocking the crowd. And he didn't know nothing about that. He was a little boy. And Will was like, yo, man, come get my son ready to perform. And he paid me. And I was in there Will built a little stage for the little dude in the crib. And I was out going to Will's house every day. You know what I'm saying? And this was back in 2010. And you know what I mean? And this was at a time in my life when, you know, I didn't have no songs on the radio. I had just came to LA. I was trying to rebuild my life fresh off a divorce. I had lost everything. And I was still able to generate some money somehow. So, you know what I mean? Like, you just
so what you're saying, there's different opportunities in different ways.
Yeah, man. Like,
to make
you know,
money out here in the music industry. Everybody wants a record deal.
Everybody want to be a star. Everybody want to be the star.
Right.
Everybody want to be the man. What about the man behind the man? You know, ain't nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? There was a guy that Justin Bieber had on staff. They had on Justin Bieber. They had this dude named Ryan.
Just this cool, fly little dude, white dude, skater dude, a lot of swag. He was Justin's swag coach.
Swag coach?
Yes. He was getting paid to just kick it with Justin, be like a little friend. He was a little older, and just teach him like, nah, don't stand like that, stand like this. Don't say that, say this. Don't brush your hair like that, brush it like this. Don't rock your hat like that, rock it like this. Just to teach him how to be cool. You know what I mean?
So what you're saying is it's ways of getting money out here.
Yeah, then you ain't
just
always
gotta,
gotta
it ain't
be,
always about the being the man.
You ain't
the
always
main
gotta
guy.
be the main guy. You ain't always gotta be the main guy. I survived. I mean, I ate off getting my money in the background to the point where so many people tell, man, you so dope. You need to be the nigga doing. Why you giving all this music to this person that one? Man, you need to be the guy in the front. You need to be the nigga out there. Da da da. And I'm like, and I wrestled with that for so long, and I was like, all right, yeah, maybe I should. So, you know what I'm saying? Here I am again, like, all right, let me go. Because I can do it. I can do it in the forefront. But I guess whenever it didn't happen, I didn't have no problem retreating to the back. Like, all right, I'm going to make money anyway.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
right.
Yeah.
Hey, man. Well, I appreciate you.
Yeah, man.
I appreciate you, you know what I'm
too, bro.
saying? Like, lounging with Skip. You know what I'm saying? Letting me come through the studio.
Yeah, man.
Speaking with you, you know what I mean? I appreciate your time. I appreciate your friendship.
For sure.
And, you know.
I appreciate the free haircuts.
Well, you know, that was all based off of love.
How much I love you, man. You're my
homie. Love gonna go. You know, ain't the Chris Brown place.
Hey,
you know what I'm saying? Every quarter.
See, I look at it like
every quarter. It's like
when you need me, when you need me. When you need me,
something's coming in. When it's a buck.
See, you looking at it from a monetary.
It's still gonna be whatever.
From a monetary place. I'm looking at it more from like, you know what I mean? When you needed me, I was there for you. No questions asked.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
You need me to bless your beats. You need me to, you know what I mean? Put that sauce that you ain't gonna get nowhere else. I did it, you know what I mean? You don't need to come use the studio. You need to catch a vibe. You need to man cave it up a little bit. I'm there for you. You know what I mean? You need a podcast interview. Anything you need, I'm there for you for free. You feel me? So I just feel like if I can use my talents for you for free, you can use some of yours for me for free. I feel like it's an even exchange. You know what I mean? I don't think it's about a quarterly, what's coming in the mail. You know, if we're basing our friendship on that, then, I mean, what's it really worth, Playboy? Like, you know what I mean? I don't know how they do it in the loo, you know what I mean? I'm a Jersey boy. I don't know. We a little different.
It's all the same. It's all the same. Man, my cheeks is fucking hurting. My cheeks was fucking hurting.
I got them laughing,
man.
y'all.
My cheeks is fucking hurting right now, man.
I got Skip laughing. You know what I mean?
This is, hey, my nigga.
I appreciate your friendship too, brother.
I appreciate you, man.
I really do, man.
I appreciate you, my nigga.
I really do, my nigga.
You know
Anytime,
anything
anything you need, bro.
And I appreciate you for lounging with Skip. Until next time,
yes,
peace.
Yes, sir.
Hey, you said your Instagram did all
I
that?
sure did. At Ryan Toby Ryan.
What if anybody wants to contact you for like songs or anything like that?
Hit me on IG, man.
Okay.
Hit me on IG at Ryan Toby. I hang out on IG a lot. I got Twitter, same thing at Ryan Toby Ryan. But main thing is hit me on IG and we can make something happen.
All right, no doubt.
If you got that budget.
All right, y'all. Thank y'all for lounging with Skip. Until next time, peace.
You've been lounging with Skip. You've been lounging with Skip. Oh yeah. You're lounging with Skip.
You're lounging with Skip.
And then Rob on your radio.
All right, y'all. Peace.
You call me like, yo, wait, you think you can do a theme song? You've been lounging, lounging with Skip.
You lounging. All right, y'all. Peace.
Peace like 3 times.